All right, let's watch this. Okoki suggested this. All right, this is game industry bubble. Okay, I'm gonna have to add this to the description down below. Let's watch this and see what Laura Fry. She used to work in the industry. I think she still works in the industry, but she's got a channel. Her channel has got 30,000 subscribers. This video has been watched 219,000 times. So let's take a look.
Secret, the games industry is struggling. Millions of dollars have been lost and thousands of layoffs have occurred. Even games with mild success will not make their money back. One would think that these failures would create a moment of crisis, a moment of self-reflection in the industry, that studios would realize that instead of lecturing gamers about what they should want, they would listen and understand their fans. You know, the people who want to be entertained, who want to pay to play their games. So how did we get here? Why is it so difficult for the feedback to get through? Why aren't studios listening?
Here's why I think the studios aren't listening. Are you ready? The gaming industry has risen to points of untouchable feats. Okay. Before, okay, and I've talked about this in the past about console sales have hit a saturation point. Okay. So they needed more people to play their games, right? Well, they don't know how to get to those people, right? Just like Ubisoft said, we don't know how to reach the people that want to play the games. Because they always have to do this, companies always have to go up with the bar. They're always looking for other people to come in. Well, instead of, right, which I talked about very early in the show about my YouTube channel, right? Would it be great if I could have 1 million people? Sure. But I have what I have, and I'm happy what I have, right? I look at what I have and go, these are the people that are watching my stream, so I'm going to make footage and content for the people that like my stuff, right? I'm not going, hey, screw all these people. I'm going to go chase the other people that are not watching my stuff and how to get those things, right? I'm going to stay true to what I'm doing and what I'm making, right? And I stay on that path because I think there's other people out there that just haven't seen me yet, but I'll resonate with those people. That's what they're going for. They're going for the people that don't resonate. They already have the people there. They already have a group of people that are playing their games and they love their games and they do all this stuff, but they're like, you know what? Fuck these people. Let's go for those people because those people potentially could be better than the people that we have, right? The grass is greener on the other side type of syndrome.
Well, the problem is that over the years, they've created a bubble. And unless they turn things around and step into the light, things are only going to get worse. Let's talk about how this happened. When I first started in games, you made a game, got ready to ship, and then you talked about it at E3. You let people play, and sometimes you even had gamers at E3. It felt like a fun geek fest with friends. As games became more mainstream and made more money, things started to change. The press became...
Imagine that. Imagine that. When we made games just to make games, make a game, try to find people to sell the game to, then they got the games, they started making money off the game, and they're like, oh, well, making money's nice. Making money's nice. Let's make more money. How do we make more money?
More powerful, and reporters that wanted to increase their audience might do so by creating breaking news about your game. Sometimes that was really good, and the game developer would score a magazine cover, they'd get more sales and a lot more attention. Sometimes it wasn't so good because a lot of game developers weren't great at selling their games. They were just great at making them.
Yeah, there's a lot of developers that don't have personalities. They're very like, yeah, I made a game. That's good. Yeah, you should play it, right? There's a lot of people, and this is why they hired other people to be the spokesperson, or they try to market the game with other people to kind of bring out the, like, what game are you making?
They might say something wrong about the game, or maybe a reporter would misunderstand. This could end up costing the game developer shelf space, sales, and sometimes their job.
Noise in their makeshift trailer park across the street from E3.
I think it's more honest. Like, we don't have to put on a big show. Our big show is our technology.
Naturally, what happened was the game developers and publishers started to evolve out of self-interest. They needed to protect their investment, so they would set their message and their narrative very specifically before they went to E3. The last thing they wanted was for a reporter to misunderstand and print something that would hurt the game. Now, instead of game developers working 8-hour shifts on the show floor discussing their games, companies moved to designated spokespeople and had secondary people
Look at that. It's like I know what I'm talking about.
manning the booth. Many companies staffed their floor with beautiful contractors that couldn't answer any in-depth questions.
Isn't that the worst? You like go to Best Buy, you have a question, or Home Depot, or any kind of retail store. You're like, hey, is this television set better than this television set? What's the frame rates to this? What's the megahertz of this? What's that? And they're like, I don't know. I just work here. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking you the question, right? They have no fucking clue. They don't know the difference between an elbow and a knee. Okay. That's the way some of these people talked about their games back in the day. So they had to hire someone. Okay, this is what you're going to say. This is what we want our game to be. The best way to look at it. Remember old movie posters, right? Old movie posters or old fucking even Atari. When you look at the cartridge, right? The cartridge had this beautiful artwork on it, right? Had like a Conan the Barbarian guy on there slaying a dragon. You're like, oh my god, I want to play that game. And then you put the game in. It's like one pixel fighting another pixel. It's like 3 colors. You're like, this is amazing, right? That's it. That's the advertisement, right? That's the spokesperson. The artwork spoke for what the game was or what the movie was, right? Back in the day.
Aloha! Welcome to the Maxim Video Game.
Left or right? Left or right? Is it one closest to me or the one farther away? I like the one farther away. Just saying.
Quiz.
This worked really well. Instead of having kind of a grumpy developer that had crunched in
El
order to
Dente
get the
both.
E3 demo done, you had beautiful, bubbly people, and they would set a great first impression of your game.
Oh my god, I know this one too.
The green
There's a lot of good-looking girls playing video games at E3.
guy.
Giovanni? No.
The turtle.
Fabio? No.
I'm sure they're real good gamers.
No. Leonardo?
An added benefit was that no reporter in their right mind would quote one of these people as some kind of expert on the game, so it took away that risk. If a journalist wanted an in-depth interview or wanted specific questions about the game answered, then they were directed to a PR spokesperson. And these people were trained. They were intimately familiar with the game, and generally they didn't say anything stupid.
And fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't
This man single-handedly destroyed Xbox for a decade.
able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't,
Well,
you don't like it.
if you have zero access
Yeah.
to the internet, that is an offline device.
This also really worked to increase the star power of game creators. People like stories about another person, right? It's hard to tell a story about the 150 people working on the game. It's just too much for people to keep track of. They want to hear about the star. Who is the co-creator of Halo? Who is Jason Jones? That is what they wanted to hear. These spokespeople became famous and often
Yeah, they became like rock stars. They're rock stars for geeks, for gamers, man.
the press became their friends. It's natural for friendships to develop over time, and it helps in interviews if people know each other.
It's great to see you again.
It's good to see you as well.
good to
People
see
have been
this
waiting
still
for us to
going.
get back together, and now is
And
the
I
appropriate venue.
do always enjoy it where you make up features and ask me if they're actually real.
I love that Todd Howard just called him straight out to his face.
Exactly. And then you go back and build them, right? No.
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes. We get the pressure to do that.
Yes.
This created a star power on the interface, too. Suddenly, you weren't just a journalist. You weren't just a buyer for GameStop. You were friends with some of the most famous and powerful people in the games industry. If you played your cards right, maybe you'd get exclusive interviews or get to break stories after drinking.
And that's when Access Media came into play, right? Where Access Media gets to things. If you say the right things, we'll give you the right stuff.
One night. And the escalation continued. It became normal to wine and dine the press and retail buyers. Since games were on physical media, you had to have shelf space, and even better, cross-promotion with major stores. It was big business. Companies had to manage hundreds of these people at E3. So Xbox had a handler for every major press person and retail buyer. The handler would make sure that the experience for these people was top notch. For press, it was a PR person. In the Xbox case, they had internal PR and an army of contract PR people from a company called Edelman. They were beautiful, smart, and funny people. For the retail buyers, it was easy because Microsoft already had someone internally that managed every account, and so those people would be the guides for the retail buyers.
We got 400 retail.
Waterbear says the gaming industry has been taken over. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry. Has been taken over by the cool kids. It's no longer owned by the nerds and the guys that wore anime clothes in the schools, like myself. Yeah. I used to get beat up. I would beat up, but people would try to beat me up, Water, because of I liked video games. I didn't go to school when I was younger, and when someone asked me, "What did you do?" I was like, "Oh, I played Mario. I played all these different games." Nobody was like, "Oh yeah, me too." Right? Like, we understand that when I played video games, there was millions of people playing, not tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people playing, right?
Retail pros ready to hang out in the Xbox booth and learn why Xbox One is the best place to play games this year. Where's the best place to play games?
If you were a VIP, you would check in for an appointment at the desk and have a first-class tour. Access to a VIP section where
Yeah, I was scrappy, El Dente. People would try to beat me up, but then, they got a rude awakening.
you could eat, drink, and mingle with Xbox and game royalty. On the tour, you might see a presentation by one of the creators followed by a hands-on demo, staffed appropriately so that your experience was perfect. This sometimes meant that they would even win when they weren't very good at the game.
I like that you actually went through 3 hurdles.
Great show back in the day, Chuck. I don't know if you guys ever watched Chuck. Love that show.
And you still finished first. So that's because I run so fast. No matter how many obstacles I hit, I can just make up for it. That's fun.
It's pretty phenomenal.
If the game was big enough, like Gears, there might be an exclusive party or event. It was also staffed with beautiful people, models, and sometimes even celebrities like Paris Hilton. I remember Paris showing up at the event. She walked over to the bar and slammed a few shots. Next thing I knew, Cliffy's girlfriend was posing for a selfie, and there I was looking like, I don't know, where's Waldo in this picture?
Man. Paris Hilton's like, why the fuck are you taking a picture with me? Why am I here? Just let me get drunk.
It was funny because when Cliffy's girlfriend posted this picture, she made sure to scrub me out of there. I wonder why. Then there were the press briefings before E3 even started. We'd spend weeks leading up to E3 figuring out which games to include and how to create blockbuster sound bites that would further drive our message.
I know you plan these things months and months in advance. For anybody that doesn't know, like the planning for this starts like the beginning of the year kind of thing.
That's right.
It's crazy. So
we didn't want a random reporter setting the tone for the entire week, so we got ahead of it. We set the tone at that briefing and then gave more details later in the week.
I love the fact that she's has a channel and she's talking about stuff like this. I love it.
And it worked. Sometimes reporters would just report your message exactly. Like this article, which mirrored our internal XNA messaging. We knew that it was insanely ambitious to assume creating a game engine like XNA was going to somehow change the entire dynamics of the console business. But reporters liked it, and they ran with it. And this still happens. As you saw with Dragon Age, a return to form is exactly what the designer wanted the press to say. Managing the message was critical to a studio's success and was done for survival purposes, but it sadly started to hurt gamers. You now had an industry that was in a bubble.
Yep.
As the friendships and relationships grew, only journalists...
Yeah, no. Yeah, the bubble is they fart, they smell their own farts, and they think they smell good, but they really don't. Nobody's farts smell like potpourri. You know what I'm saying?
In the bubble were given exclusives, and sometimes their review didn't match what was going on. Again, you saw this recently with Veilguard. IGN is walking back their review. Did IGN actually believe Veilguard was...
No, they didn't. They gave it a 9, and then afterwards, they then talked shit about it. What the fuck is that analogy? It's exactly what it is, Altern. Right? When you fart and smell your own farts, okay, you don't think there's a problem. When someone else comes in, they're like, whoa, what the fuck did you eat? That's what the gaming industry is right now, right? They're in a bubble, and they think their shit doesn't stink. They think everything's perfect. They don't take criticism, okay, because of they think they're perfect. They think that, well, if I say something bad about this game, then they're going to have I'm not going to get the access that I want, right? Because if you farted and I come in the room and I'm like, what the fuck, Altern, did you just fart? You might be go, oh, God, he embarrassed me because he just pointed out that what I did, okay? That's what the gaming industry doesn't want. They don't want people pointing out that they just farted in the room. That's what that analogy is.
It's a 9 out of 10, or did they intentionally ignore the flaws? Did they play the game? Did they like the game, but then after they got into it more, they decided they didn't like it anymore? It's just confusing as to why it appears they're walking back that review. Is it because suddenly they're seeing that gamers don't like it and the sales are going to be low?
That's exactly right. Because now they're trying to position themselves in, oh no, we're one of you guys. This is Steve Buscemi. Hey, fellow gamers. That's what IGN's doing. IGN stood there and told you that it was a 9, and then everybody else played it and said it's not a 9, and they're like, hey, fellow gamers, we also think it's not a 9. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know the answers, but it's not a new story. Then there were the awards at the shows. For game developers, it was a way to keep score, to get more marketing and support for your game. It was a way to gain more shelf space at retail. Look, an expert loves my game. See, IGN says I'm a 9 out of 10. Please give me more shelf space. This created even more power for the journalists because they had a chance to create their own brand.
Altern says, I will just say it was you that farted and walked away and blame you, like the industry does, calling people sexist, racist, and stuff. See how that analogy involves now? Exactly right. Still works, doesn't it?
And suck up to the bigger business of Hollywood. Then YouTube took off and threatened to bring the whole thing down because suddenly you didn't have to listen to a print magazine. You could just go watch the game being played online and hear what that person had to say about it. It took a while, but the industry started to notice. I remember being at WB Games and arguing with our PR team about this. Being a Hollywood company, they loved the current setup. They had been cultivating these relationships for years. They knew and loved the model. They didn't want to embrace the new reality. On Gotham City Imposters, we wanted a presence on YouTube, so we made the videos ourselves. All of these videos were done by the actual game developers. They didn't have a budget or help, just their own creativity and time.
Here's another thing that they do. There's companies that what she's saying right now is that they didn't have a budget, they did it themselves. But now there's people pretending they have no budget and they're doing it themselves, but really it's high production value, if that makes sense. They're trying to make it like, oh no, we're just scrappy little developers that we're trying to, we're just doing our thing. But they're still being produced heavily from behind the scenes to make it look like they're down to earth, like they're just one of us.
Once the big companies caught on that YouTube and streaming was here to stay, they started the process again. The playbook was the same. Cultivate a relationship with the most popular streamers and YouTube personalities.
Yep. Instead of celebrities, now you just pick the streamers, right? Now you're just picking the lower tier celebrities
that love your game and pull them into the bubble. But then something changed. You see, when you're in a bubble or an echo chamber where no real feedback gets through, it's easy to make bad choices. It's easy to believe the friendly journalists when they tell you what a genius you are and how great your game is.
On the score, yeah, we do mock reviews for every game that we launch, and this is like double.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, it's great, Phil. That's great. Redfall, yeah, it's perfect. It's it's ready to ship. Yeah, it's great. We're ready to push it out. And then you have him going out in front of everybody and going, yeah, we have an internal score. It hit all the marks. At least that's what they told me. Someone's going to get fired. That's what he's thinking in his head.
Digits lower than we thought we would be.
You stop seeing
couple digits. Let me rewind that a little bit. Right?
tell you what a genius you are and how great your game is.
On the score, yeah, we do mock.
Yeah, Redfall. Yeah, just a couple of points lower. Just a couple of points lower.
Reviews for every game that we launch, and this is like double digits lower than we thought we would be.
You stop seeing what the gamers are actually playing. You stop understanding what they want. You stop listening because all you hear is how awesome you are.
That's right.
Let's look at Dragon Age. It took over 6 years to make that game. And that is very expensive even before you start talking about the marketing. This means you're going to have to sell a lot of copies, and that means you're going to have to appeal to
Not a lot of copies, a shit ton of copies.
as many people as possible. Look, shipping a game is really hard, and I give these developers a lot of credit for getting it out the door. There's no question that some people like the game, and that's great, but it's looking like it won't be enough, and I have concerns this will lead to more layoffs. Also, as a gamer, I have no problem with game developers taking risks with their content.
Sure.
Who doesn't love innovation?
Right? You have to take risks. Take the risks, right? Make a game, sell a game, right? That's my number one motto here for anybody that's making a video game. Make a game, sell a game. If you want to make the most woke game ever, fucking do it, right? Do it. But don't complain that it doesn't sell copies, right? If you want to make a horror game, it's the most gruesome horror game it is, but it just doesn't come off right, right? Do it. Make a game, sell a game. Put what you think is out there the best to your ability. But when it fails or succeeds, don't blame, okay, anybody but yourself because you made a game and then sold a game.
But that doesn't mean I'll buy your game. There are many games I like and many that I don't. This is true of movies too. And that's the beauty and the challenge of working in the games industry.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will make something that you think is good and people don't love it. I was proud of every single game I shipped, but not all of them had commercial success.
Which is fine.
And it was frustrating. But I didn't blame the gamers for that.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much. That's exactly right. You could be proud of the game you are. I don't know if the people from Redfall are proud of what they shipped out. Maybe they are because they're like, there's no way this game's getting done. And then all of a sudden it did. And you could be proud, right? I've worked on plenty of fucking feature films that I was good with my work, but the overall picture just sucked balls, okay? But I'm still proud of what I did, what I put in my time, okay? But I didn't say, oh, well, that movie failed because of you. You didn't go watch the film. No, because the movie sucked, okay? The show sucked. That's the way it is, okay? Not everything, like as I always say, is going to be a bestseller, blockbuster film or, number one, bestseller book on the charts, okay? You don't blame. Make the game you want to make, put it out there, and if it fails, it fails. If it succeeds, it succeeds. But don't blame the gamers for your game succeeding or failing, okay? Obviously, succeeding is you made a good game, so people bought it. You made a shitty game, people didn't buy it. Done.
Instead, I tried to look back. I tried to self-reflect. What did we do well on this game?
Right.
What could we have done better? Why didn't this work out?
Could you do better? And then if you did make a game and you had the opportunity to make a sequel, how do you make the bar where Heroes was the bar before and we failed, so you got to make it better than this because this didn't work, right? So now you have it this, right? Mass Effect 1 came out, sold well, but they made it better. Mass Effect 2 came out much better than Mass Effect 1, okay?
And as the leader of a studio or a game, I always looked at myself first.
War in the North was also a commercial failure, a fact that many critics attributed to the timing of its release, being released only 10 days before the juggernaut of fantasy gaming, Skyrim.
Gaming is entertainment. People aren't forced to buy your message or your game. Holding back user reviews for a few days only buys you a few days. Eventually, the truth comes out. Eventually, people notice that you aren't delivering fun games, and they stop giving you money.
I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she'll come on chatting with and have a conversation with me. Because she seems pretty... She seems like she's opened up to where she would talk about stuff.
Everybody knows it's over. Everybody except you.
When people ask me why AAA games are in trouble, this is it. because they're not reflecting on what they could do better. Instead, they're attacking the people that they want to sell their games to. It is not a winning strategy. It reminds me of Plato's allegory of the cave. It's where people only see what is on the wall in front of them. They don't see that there is a fire behind them and puppets that are creating the images that they see on the wall. What they're seeing isn't real. And if only they would turn around and walk into the light, they would know the truth. They would be able to change. It's hard, but fortunately, they made the cave. They made the fake reality.
Yep.
They can turn around at any time. And I, for one, hope they do, because I really want more great games.
So is she, you know what I'm saying? So is she a hater? Is she a hater because these game companies are doing? No. She worked in the industry and she's looking at it going, hey guys, you're making mistakes here. You need to fix it. This is a good video. Okoki, thanks for pointing it out.
It's no.
That's good. Yeah, it's the same person that made the Gotham Imposters. We watched one of her videos a couple months back. Yeah, look, it's nice to see people that doesn't think their shit doesn't stink, right? Like, she literally said it out loud. Like, this is what's happened in the industry. She's been in the industry for like 20, 30 years, okay, in the industry. Okay, she's worked on shitty games and she's worked on great games. You can't make it something and then blame other people because it doesn't work. You put a game, you worked 6 years on a game, it comes out and doesn't work, and you're like, it's because you're sexist. Oh, it's because the gamers are racist. Oh, if you don't like it, then don't buy our game. It's like, what kind of strategy is this? What kind of like edgy thing is like, you don't like my content? Go fuck yourself. It's like a bold move. You could try it. I don't know if you're going to make a lot of money. You might get some respect for some people. Be like, yeah, go tell those trolls. But it's like you're literally pushing out the masses. You're like, yeah, I don't want to buy that game. Like, the company, like what's happening right now with Matt Hansen from Obsidian, where he just had like TNT and he just like ignited everything. Like he's throwing up stuff on the internet, and yet the whole company is going to get, taken down because of this one guy who's got a mouth on him, and he can't just stay fucking quiet. Robert Jones says she's making many good points, so she must be racist. That's right. Hey, she must be, right? That was a great video, honestly. I'm glad that we watched that. Either very brave or very stupid. I thought the business where about long-term profits, they keep trying this short-term BS and piss off future customers. Yeah, look. I'll tell you what. Keep saying stuff and shooting your mouth off, right? Because my list of companies that I'm going to give my money to is less and less. So much so that even when it comes on to Game Pass or it goes on super sale, I'll look at you and go, no, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I love Borderlands. I love Borderlands. Okay. But I haven't given them a full price for their games in years because of what the type of company they've turned into with Gearbox and the way they did what they did back in the day with when Borderlands 3 came out, right? Borderlands 3 was on sale for $6, $5. And I went, nah, I don't want it. Because of what Gearbox did 5 years ago. Oh, thanks, Makoki, for bringing that up. Yeah, like I said, I think we watched something from her. Let me see. We watched 2 months ago. The first video we watched from her was this one right here. Culture Killed Concord is the one we watched. Okay? That's the first one that we watched, and then we just watched this one. So we watched that 2 months ago. So I appreciate you bringing her back up because I totally forgot about her. I'm gonna subscribe to her because I totally forgot to do that last time. So let me actually let me put that her channel in the description down below. Lauren Fry. Then we just watched this video. Put that in the description. So make sure you guys want to go watch that video or give it a like. Give it a like. It's got 18,000 likes. So go give it a look. Go give it a like because we watched it. It's been seen 219,000 times in the last 10 days. So her channel's doing very well. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to her. I'm gonna reach out. Don't know if anything will come from it, but if it does, it'll probably be sometime next year. Because the holidays and stuff right now will probably be really rough to try to get her on. I'm definitely gonna reach out to her, see if I can get contact information, and reach out if she wants to have a conversation. I think it'd be great. Yeah, I would love to talk to her, right? Because I wouldn't talk to her as like a hostile takeover of like, tell me about the industry, right? I would love to know about where she came from, how'd she get into the business, what she did in the business, right? I don't want to look at her resume. I want her to tell me what she's done, and then I want to have a conversation about, basically what she made in the video and get her thoughts on it, right? I think it'd be very interesting. Obviously, it's just a candid conversation, so I would love that. Hopefully, lots of people have given their time with bigger channels. So, she's at 31,000 subscribers. I think I could get, send her some conversations that we have with other content creators. I'll send that out sometime this week.